there! So, welcome to another brew day. This time, I've decided I'm going to start doing a load of beers from the Bible. Why not, eh? So, kind of pondering what beer to do. Shall I choose like, a commercial knockoff? Shall I get something out of like the Camera homebrew book? Should I do a brewdog beer? See, I'm trying to get my words right. And I decided, let's go back to the good old standard that everybody seems to refer to when they want to get a good beer. Let's go to the Bible. So the Bible, in case you don't know, one sec. I've probably done exactly the same thing as that in a previous video. I don't know. That's the Bible. Okay, home brew beer by Greg Hughes. It's declared as the Bible. It's got some really, really good recipes in it. Shitloads of recipes in it, and they're really, really good. Every single one I've done so far has come out good. So I decided to do a beer called the 60-minute IPA. 60 minutes for an IPA. What could go wrong, eh? Let's see. Alright, welcome to another brew day. This time I am taking a break from the hazy IPAs and trying to go for a bit of clarity. So I'm going to be going for the 60-minute mash. So this is what they quite lovingly call the Bible. And I'm going for this nice simple 60-minute IPA recipe. Really simple grain bill. So it says 5.5 kilos of pale malt. I've put 6 kilos in because I've got a slightly bigger mash tun. The hops, I've got everything except for I don't have any Amarillo, so I'm going to swap that out for some Mosaic, which I've got loads of. And the Californian ale yeast, I haven't got that, so I'm going to swap that out for some USO5. Apart from that, really, really easy recipe. Not too massive amount of hoppage. So I might end up chucking a little bit more in. Actually, no, I'm going to stick with this, but I'm actually going to dry hop this because there's no dry hopping in this, which doesn't really shout out IPA to me. I can't see any dry hopping in this at all. No. Anyway, I'm going to do some dry hopping to kind of change this recipe up a little bit. So what have I got here? I have my 6 kilos of this is Golden Promise. I've got a nice 25 kilogram bag of Golden Promise from Brew UK. Took ages to come during lockdown, but got there in the end. The water's almost up to temperature, so I'm nearly ready to do mash in. As you can see, there's no water additions this time because I'm not caring about having a nice soft mouthfeel. This is just going to be a nice clear traditional IPA. I'm not worried about the mouthfeel. So I'm happy with there being a low calcium chloride level and high sulfite level. So yeah, pretty simple recipe. I'm just going to wait for this to come in a couple of minutes probably. It doesn't come in, dough in. 5 minutes at the most. And then I will start doughing in. Yeah, my English is coming out terrible this morning. Anyway, yeah, about 5 more minutes and then I'll start doughing in. I just noticed something about this recipe. If you look here, we've got 7 grams of Amarillo and 7 grams of Cascade for the last 30 minutes. You then add 7 grams of each Chinook, Amarillo and Cascade every 5 minutes until your hour is up. Interesting. It's going to be quite a lot of hops going in during the boil, which I don't normally do. Okay. I'm going for a slightly more bitter beer anyway, so this will be interesting. Use up a lot more hops than I was expecting. I'm just getting ready to add all of the hoses and connectors so that I can start doughing in and start underletting. I just want to point out that last time I did a brew day, which was about a month ago, maybe more, no, 6 weeks ago, I left the pumps. I basically washed them out with just hot water and then just left them. But there was obviously water residue in there, some sitting inside the little kind of grooves that you get inside the pump. So today I thought I'd just like flush them out with hot water just before I started doing the underletting. And this is the kind of shit that came out. So we had this black mold came out of the pumps. So I took them off. I've washed them out properly, so they're squeaky clean now. But you know, it just goes to show that you need to be you need to keep things clean. You need to make sure that you've got your procedures in place so that next time you do a brew day, everything's nice and clean. Yeah, I won't be making that mistake again. I'll make sure I clean out after the brew day today so I don't end up with black molds growing inside my equipment. Anyway, about to start underletting, so I'm just going to click on all the hoses. Alright, so we're at the recirculation phase. As you can see, I've got my spray ball on, which is spraying nicely. Looking good. A nice amount of liquid in there. I'm going to leave this for like half an hour to do its thing. So I'm just getting ready to weigh out my hops. I've got a load of mosaic here. I don't know what's wrong with me this morning. I thought I was actually putting Citra and Amarillo in this recipe. And as you can quite clearly see, it's Chinook and Cascade, which I've got plenty of, which is good because I need to use that stuff up. So I'm going to start getting my hops out now. Chinook and Cascade, no Citra. I might do a dry hop with some Citra, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, I'm just going to start weighing this stuff out. Alright, here we are, I've weighed up all the hop additions. Pretty easy because everything's the same, apart from the very first hop addition. So for the first hop addition, I've got 7 grams of Chinook and 7 grams of mosaic. And then it's 7 grams of mosaic, 7 grams of Chinook, 7 grams of Cascade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to need to do, I've only got 6 of these cups, so I'm going to need to do 2 more of these for that last half an hour of adding every 5 minutes. And this is going to be, if I chuck this in a hot bag, I'm going to end up using up bloody shitloads of hot bags, so I'm just going to chuck this into the boil when it's ready, and I'm just going to end up with loads of green crap at the bottom. It's fine, no problem. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I didn't expect to be putting hops into this beer so regularly. I should read the instructions more clearly next time, but yeah, should be fun. Anyway, another 15 minutes left of the recirculation, which I've ended up taking the spray ball off because it was just going spraying everywhere. I think because there's only 6 kilos of grain in this, and I usually go for a much higher amount of grain. It's able to flow more freely. Anyway, another 15 minutes and then I can start doing the runoff. Alright, so as you can see, we've got the grain there. We're just starting the runoff. So we've got nice slow trickle going into the boil kettle. I've just set everything up ready to start sparging. I need to hook the sparge shower head, whatever you want to call it, my sparge arm onto there. And then I'll start the sparging process. But for now, we're just starting to extract the liquid, the lovely sweet wort from the grain into the boil kettle, ready to start boiling. And sparge is on. Nice. I'm going to let this sparge until we've got enough liquid in here, and then we're ready to go. Sparge is down to a really slow trickle. It's got a nice slow runoff going here. So far looking good. Nice. I've got the boil turned on so it can start heating up already. Cut down on a bit of time. Alright, okay, so this is our pre-boil gravity. We've got a gravity of 1.050, which the starting gravity after the boil should be 1.055, so I think we are going to be fine. I've not entered any of this into Beersmith, so I don't know what the pre-boil should be. But I think 5 points. This is at 1.051 actually. So 4 or 5 points through the boil should be easily achievable. So I think we're all good. So just waiting for hot break to kick in. I can see the top starting to move a little bit. So we should start in the next 5 minutes. I think hot break will start to kick in, and it'll be time for the first hop additions. I'm just gonna let you know that I've got a real thing about sticking hops into the boil, mainly because I think it clogs, it clogs up any filters that we've got. I've got a problem with that. Actually, I've put no filters in this at all. There is actually no filter in there, so it's going to be interesting when I do the runoff into the fermenter. Anyway, I've left all my bazooka tubes up there. Oops, never mind. Anyway, so, which is good because I don't want to go sticking the hops into the boil then. That's even more of a reason not to just stick them directly in the boil. So I've got here a big muslin bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them in the muslin bag. I'm going to clip it to the side. And then every time I need to do another hop addition, I'll just add it to the muslin bag. I think that'll be nice and easy, and it'll keep the, you know, it'll keep the wort when I stick it in the fermenter, keep it hop free, so I don't get any unwanted bits going into the fermenter. And really annoyingly, I noticed while I was filming that last bit that I've got like leakage on the floor, and I can see here I've got a very slow, well, not that slow actually, I've got a slight leak, which is really annoying because I actually did an integrity test to make sure that everything was nice and tight, and there was going to be no leakages, and there wasn't. Sometimes I find when things get hot, you know, things change their size slightly, and so what would be a, anyway. So I think I'm just going to put up with it. You know, I don't think I really, it's annoying. I could empty the boil kettle, is an option. I don't know, maybe I will. We have hot break kick in. That happened while I was looking at the leak in the tap. So what I've done is I've gone sod it, you know, let it leak a little bit. It's not going to leak, I'm not going to lose much out of that, you know. Maybe a pint at the most, I don't know, in an hour's boil, and it may stop over time. It seems to be slowing down a little bit, which is good. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chuck in my first hop additions. And the reason I've got the towel at the back here, clipped to the back of the boil kettle, is because, as you can see, it's a very vigorous boil today, and I filled it up quite a bit. So I'm worried about, you know, considering I've got around the back of this, I've got the plug, the socket. I'm a bit worried about, you know, wort spilling all over the electric cable. So, wow, look at that vigorous boil. So I just put a towel there just to minimise any splashes that go around the back. But this, you know, the wort will start reducing soon anyway. There'll be less of it. Right. Second hop addition, so we're at the halfway mark. This is the first addition of 7 grams of Chinook, 7 grams of Mosaic, 7 grams of Cascade. I'm going to stick that in this bag. Try not to burn my hands. I'm going to chuck this in. And we're going to clip that to the side. Now I'm going to do this every 5 minutes. So that's 6 times. I'm not going to film every single one. Done? Yep. We've got a whirlpool while it's cooling. As you can see, it's dropped right down, obviously, because when it's hot it expands. So that 31 litres that I had when it was hot, as it's cooling, it's dropping right down to 24 litres. That'll probably drop down more because it's got a little bit of temperature to drop down to. Got my hot bag in there, so just waiting for this to get down to pitching temperature and we're all good. One thing that forgot what I was going to say. So looking at the size of this hot bag, throughout the whole process of adding 21 grams of hops every 5 minutes for the last half hour, I've worked out that in the boil I've put 191 grams of hops, which is a shit ton to go into the boil for a beer. Which, you know, it's okay, it's a traditional IPA, so I'd expect, you know, quite a lot of hops to go in through the boil. So I'm probably, you know, I'm only going to do minimal amount of dry hop, probably one. I might do one dry hop, like 7 days before the end, or maybe 5 days before the end. About 100 grams maybe of Mosaic. But I'm not going to overdo it and go crazy. Just enough to give it a nice, lovely Mosaic aroma. A nice fruity aroma, you know. Anyway, to go with that, because this has got Cascade and Chinook in it, so it's going to have some nice resiny piney tastes. So a bit of fruity aroma would be really nice. Anyway, Wait for this to get down to pitching temperature. Almost there, we're at 35 degrees now, so on our way. Well, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but this has gone way above what I was expecting. So I was hoping for a starting gravity of 1.055. As you can see here, I've gone to 1.064. So 9 points above what I was expecting, which is massive. This is meant to be a 5.7% beer. This is going to be closer to 6, maybe just over 6. Maybe 6.5, something like that. Anyway, way above what I was expecting to get out of this. I did increase the grain bill a little bit by 500 grams of pale malt, so maybe that's something that's had an effect. But anyway, numbers are better than expected. Right, we're at just over 26 degrees, which I think is fine for pitching. So I've started running into the fermenter. Once this is all finished, I will chuck it in the fermentation chamber along with the US-05 and get this baby started. So here we are at the 21 litre mark. I've got a fair bit left in the bottom, so much gunk in there. I'm just going to leave it in there. Get that washed out soon. There's a couple of litres left in there, so yeah, I'm going to stick in the US-05 now. So I'm just going to crack that open, pull that over the top, stick it in the fermentation chamber. So here we are, US-05. Just going to sprinkle it over the top nicely. There we go. It's a very reliable yeast to have. It's always worthwhile having. I've got, I think, about 3 more packs of those left in. Always worthwhile having a good stock of US-05 in. Anyway, I'm going to stick the lid on there now and then chuck it in the fermentation chamber. So there it is. You've seen the brew day. Scratch on my head here. I did this on the hot plants. They are scratchy as fuck. Seriously, it just whacked me on the head. There's a branch sticking out and it just whacked me on the head. It's not too bad. Anyway, I'm moaning and being a big pussy. Anyway, so 60-minute IPA, shit tons of hops in that boil. That's what it came out like. I mean, look at that. All right, it's not crystal clear. I don't think you can actually see how it's a little bit of clarity to it. You know, you can still see stuff through it. Beautiful colour, lovely colour, nice pale colour. You can see here actually, this is quite clear here, this bit. You know, it's not too bad. It's come out okay. All right, clarity is not too bad. It's been in the keg for about 4 weeks now, so which is, I'd expect it to start dropping clear at this point, and it really is. So I had massive doubts about this beer. First of all, there were shit tons of hop additions during the boil. And the last half hour was every 5 minutes, hops. Like, so many hops went into the boil that I just expected this to be a bitter monster. I've had a few of these. So like I said, I've had it in there for a month now, and I can't resist it. I want to try and taste it all the way through the conditioning process to see how it's improving. Not once have I actually gone, this is too bitter. It's always been actually quite mellow, quite smooth, and really nice. So let's do a taste test now so that I can actually give you some idea of what this beer tastes like. Those of you that have brewed it know that it's surprisingly good. So getting lots of there is a nice piney note to it, some kind of peach and passion fruit. That's about it really. There's no citrusy kind of aromas or tropical fruits or anything like that. I wanted to go for a traditional IPA, so I've not, smell-wise, I'm not far off that, to be honest. So let's give this a taste and see if it is. Seriously, how beautiful is that? The colour of that is lovely. I don't think you can see the bubbles. No, I don't think you can see. Anyway, let's give it a taste. Really fucking clean, like so clean. Such a lovely, mellow, like There's a maltiness to it that is just really, really mellow. It hasn't got the sweetness that I would normally have for a double IPA that I would brew. This came out at 7%, so it's double IPA standards. I think the recipe was supposed to be 5.7, and I ended up overshooting quite a lot. Came out at 7%. But it's no bitterness at all. I'm so surprised with this beer. It's a lovely, slightly stone fruity, very just subtle stone fruit kind of flavour. Almost apricotty. Slight kind of piney, resinous flavour from the hops. It's not tropical fruits or anything like that. It's a very traditional IPA, but I'm just so baffled as to why it's not a bitter beast. I expected it to be really. It's like 65 IPUs or something like that. Let me double check, but it had so many. Where is it? Imperial 6-minute IPA, 60 IBUs. So it's got. The traditional, Amarillo is probably what's given it the nice kind of like stone fruity, kind of peachy kind of flavours. And it's Chinook that was the bittering hop. But it's not bitter. It's a really nice beer. Anyway, look. I would highly recommend either getting this book or just brewing this beer. It is a really, really nice beer. I'm going to sit down in the garden. It's a really nice evening, not too hot, not too cold. Sit and enjoy this. And think about my next beer, which is going to be, next beer I'm brewing is a cherry lambic, and I'm gonna do like a brew day video for that and do the taste test, because it's like 10 weeks conditioning, so I'm gonna do a taste test in a few months, but I'm gonna do the brew day video this weekend, so that's my next video. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this, guys. Happy home brew. Look at that, really beautiful. Take care.